It started with a ding, that familiar notification from my doorbell camera. Another package delivery, or so I thought. When I opened the app, my stomach dropped. There she was again, Sophia Wilson, the so-called queen of Maplewood Estates, strutting up my porch in her bright pink blazer and oversized sunglasses. She looked around like she owned the place, because technically, she kind of did. Sophia wasn't just any neighbor. She was the HOA president, self-appointed ruler of our perfect little suburban kingdom. And on that camera feed, clear as day, I watched her steal another one of my packages. That one hurt the most. It wasn't just some random Amazon order. It was my daughter Lily's birthday present, a custom necklace with her initials. It wasn't the first time either. First, it was my medication. Then my new drill set. Each time, I thought it was a delivery mistake. But seeing Sophia, the smiling woman who welcomed me into the neighborhood barbecue, stuffing my package into her fancy tote bag, that's when I realized it wasn't random. It was personal. When I moved to Maplewood Estates, I just wanted a quiet life. After the divorce, I thought this place would be a fresh start, good schools, trimmed lawns, safe streets. The kind of place where people wave when they walk by. But under those freshly painted mailboxes and trimmed hedges was a whole other world, a world run by HOA rules, gossip, and one woman's obsession with control. And I was about to learn just how far Queen Sophia would go to stay in charge. The next morning, I showed the footage to my neighbor George, retired cop, quiet guy, lawn always perfect. He watched the video twice, sighed, and said, "John, I'd let this one go. You don't want to start a war with the HOA. Especially not her." But I couldn't just let it go. My daughter cried that night because her gift never arrived. So, I filed a police report. Showed them the footage. The officer watched it, nodded, and said, "Looks bad, but technically, we'd need more evidence that she took it with intent to steal." Intent to steal? She literally walked away with my box. When the system fails you, something inside starts to crack. Sophia must have sensed I went to the police because a week later, I got a letter taped to my door, an HOA violation notice, claiming my trash bins were left out too long. The same bins that were placed perfectly fine. Then another, "Your mailbox color doesn't meet HOA aesthetic guidelines." She was playing games, sending a message, "I make the rules here." At the next HOA meeting, I confronted her in front of everyone. My voice was calm, but my heart was pounding. "Sophia, I have video proof you stole from my porch." The room went dead silent. She smiled, that fake sweet smile, and said, "Oh, John. You mean that package I picked up by mistake? You really shouldn't accuse people without proof. It's bad for community trust." Gaslighting, pure and simple. And the worst part? Everyone believed her. No one wanted to cross Sophia. Not after what she did to the Hendersons, a family who painted their door the wrong shade of blue and suddenly got fined into moving out. That's when I realized, this wasn't just about a few stolen packages. It was about control. Fear. And I was done being scared. After the meeting, Mrs. Chen from across the street knocked on my door. She looked nervous, glancing over her shoulder before speaking. "Mr. John." I saw her. "Sophia. She took a package from my porch last month. But please, don't tell anyone I said that." One by one, other neighbors started whispering the same story. In the Maplewood Facebook group, someone anonymously posted, "Is anyone missing deliveries lately?" Within hours, the comments section exploded. Missing Christmas boxes, stolen medicine, even a kid's PlayStation order gone. The truth was out. But everyone was still too scared to name her. That night, I sat in my garage surrounded by notes, screenshots, and doorbell footage. My wall looked like something out of a detective show. Dates, times, deliveries, and every clip I could gather. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about proof. I started compiling a digital folder, Operation Parcel Justice. Each file had Sophia's smug face on camera, timestamps, and even her HOA car parked nearby. George, the ex-cop, helped me organize it all. "You're building a case," he said. "But remember, she's got power. Her husband's a lawyer." That's when the real war began. I submitted everything, the videos, the logs, the reports, to the police again. This time, I was sure they'd act. But when the officers arrived at my door, they weren't here to arrest Sophia. They were here to advise me to stop publicly accusing HOA members. She'd flipped the script. Her husband had filed a defamation complaint on her behalf. Standing on my porch, she smirked over their shoulders. "Careful, John. False accusations can be very expensive." The officers left. I stood there, boiling inside. That's when it hit me, she didn't need to steal money, she was the system. Her power came from fear and paperwork. The HOA was her kingdom. The police, her pawns. And everyone in Maplewood bowed to her authority. But not me. Not anymore. That night, as I sat alone in the glow of my laptop screen, I watched her latest theft video. This time she didn't even bother hiding, just strutted up, took the box, and waved at the camera. That's when I whispered to myself. Sophia wasn't just stealing packages. She was stealing fairness. And right then, I knew exactly what I had to do. I wouldn't call the cops again. I wouldn't post another rant online. I'd build my own justice. I started small, research. Late nights, coffee, and endless YouTube tutorials on harmless traps, glitter bombs, and dye packs. Then I remembered my old college buddy, Brian, now a security engineer. I called him up and told him everything. "You're telling me your HOA president is stealing your mail?" he laughed. "Man, suburban drama hits different." We got to work. The plan was simple but brilliant. A fake package designed with a UV-reactive dye pack, completely harmless, but impossible to wash off. Bright purple. Invisible until you shine a black light. We called it the Purple Justice. For a week straight, I prepped my garage like a science lab. Gloves, soldering tools, cameras, timers. Brian guided me over video calls. Then, one sunny afternoon, I placed the decoy box on my porch. Brand new packaging, shiny label. Bait for the queen. Hours passed. Nothing. Evening came. Sunset painted the lawns gold. Then, ding. My doorbell notification lit up my phone. There she was. Sophia Wilson. Same pink blazer. Same smug look. She picked up the box, tucked it under her arm, and walked off. I watched the feed, heart pounding. "Gotcha," I whispered. That night, I walked by her house. Her porch light was on, and there she stood, chatting on her phone, holding that very box, purple stains slowly glowing under the porch bulb. She hadn't noticed yet. But soon, everyone would. Because the next day, at the HOA meeting, the blacklight camera I'd set up was going to expose everything. Her perfect world was about to crumble under the glow of purple justice. And that is where our story leaves off. Because next time, she learns what purple justice really looks like. That night, after the trap was set and the bait was gone, I didn't sleep a wink. I sat on my porch, pretending to sip coffee while replaying the footage over and over. Each frame was a small victory. Sophia, the mighty HOA president, walking off my porch with the fake package. She had no idea that inside was her downfall. By morning, the rumors had already started. Mrs. Chen called first. Her voice trembled between excitement and disbelief. "John, have you seen her? Her hands, they're stained purple." I smiled for the first time in weeks. Apparently, Sophia spent her morning power walking through the neighborhood, greeting everyone like always. Only now, her manicured fingers and the edges of her pink blazer glowed with strange violet streaks. She tried to hide it, of course. Gloves, long sleeves, excuses. But Maplewood had eyes everywhere. By lunchtime, the whispers began. What happened to Sophia's hands? Did she spill dye? Why does her porch look purple? It was poetic. The woman who used fear to control everyone was now terrified of a color. Still, I stayed quiet. I didn't brag. I didn't post anything online. I wanted the truth to reveal itself, and it would, soon enough. Because the HOA meeting was scheduled for that evening. And I had a front row seat planned for the show. The Maplewood Estates clubhouse looked different that night. Heavy air, nervous chatter. People weren't laughing or drinking punch like before. They were waiting. I walked in with my folder of evidence. My camera feed, timestamps, even the UV flashlight I'd prepared for the grand reveal. Sophia stood at the front, wearing a bright scarf that covered half her arms, smiling like nothing was wrong. Her husband, Rick, sat beside her, that smug lawyer type who thought rules were for other people. She opened the meeting as usual. "Good evening, neighbors. I know there's been gossip lately, but I assure you, everything is under control." That's when George, the retired cop, spoke up. "Under control, huh? What about the missing packages?" Murmurs filled the room. Mrs. Chen nodded silently. Others looked at Sophia with quiet defiance. Sophia's smile flickered. "I told you, we've had porch pirates. Not anyone from the community." I stood up slowly. My voice was calm but loud enough for everyone to hear. "Then maybe we should check the footage." All eyes turned to me. From my bag, I pulled out my small projector and shined the video onto the white wall. The first clip played, Sophia, bold as ever, taking my daughter's gift. Gasps echoed. Someone whispered, "That's her." Sophia froze. Rick jumped to his feet. "This is harassment. You can't." But I wasn't done. I turned on the UV flashlight. The room dimmed, and the purple glow came alive, faint traces on her scarf, her fingertips, even her necklace chain. The crowd's silence broke into chaos. Mrs. Chen whispered, "That's the same dye on her porch." Sophia tried to hide her hands behind her back, but it was too late. The evidence wasn't just visible, it was undeniable. She stammered, "This is some kind of trick, he's trying to humiliate me." I looked her straight in the eye. "No, Sophia. You humiliated yourself the moment you stole from us." The clubhouse fell quiet again. This time, the power had shifted. The next few minutes felt like a movie in slow motion. Sophia's calm mask shattered. She screamed about setups and tampering, waving her lawyer husband's business card like a shield. But every neighbor in that room had seen the truth. One by one, they spoke up. Mrs. Chen mentioned her stolen toy box. The Hendersons brought up the missing decorations. Even George admitted his package of tools vanished months ago. Rick tried to step in. "This is all circumstantial. You can't prove intent." That's when I played the second clip, time-stamped, clear as daylight, Sophia loading her car trunk with multiple packages. The crowd gasped again. Police were called, not by me, but by 3 different neighbors. When the officers arrived, they were the same ones who had brushed me off weeks earlier. I could see the embarrassment in their faces as they watched the footage and the purple evidence right there on Sophia's hands. She started crying, real tears this time, the kind that come when someone's power finally crumbles. Rick tried to step in, but one of the officers said sharply, "Sir, if you interfere, we'll take you in too." They escorted Sophia outside. Flashing lights filled the street. For the first time, Maplewood Estates wasn't under her control. It was quiet, peaceful in a way it hadn't been in months. But the damage she'd caused, that would take time to fix. The next morning, my porch was full of neighbors, some apologizing for not believing me, others thanking me for standing up. For the first time, Maplewood felt like a real community, not a dictatorship. The HOA board voted unanimously to suspend Sophia and remove her from leadership. Her house, once the symbol of power, now sat dark, blinds drawn, driveway empty. A week later, we found out she'd been charged with mail theft and community fraud. The local paper even ran a small story. HOA president arrested in Maplewood package scandal. It wasn't national news. It didn't need to be. For us, it was closure. Mrs. Chen brought cookies that afternoon. George helped fix my mailbox that Sophia had fined me for. And little Lily, she finally got her birthday necklace. She hugged me and said, "You got her, Dad." I smiled. "No, honey. We did." Because the truth was, justice doesn't always come from courts or cops. Sometimes, it comes from people who refuse to stay quiet. And that neighborhood, once divided by fear, had finally learned the power of standing together. Weeks passed. Maplewood changed. The lawn still looked perfect, but the people finally started to act like neighbors, waving, helping, laughing again. I thought it was over. Until one evening, as I sat on my porch watching Lily play with the neighborhood kids, I noticed a letter tucked under my doormat. No return address. Just my name. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Mr. Harris, you may think this matter is over, but defamation has consequences. Our attorney will be in contact soon. R. Wilson. Rick. Sophia's husband. I folded the letter, sighed, and looked out at the sunset. Some battles end in color. Others begin in silence. And this one was just getting started. Because next time, she learns what purple justice really looks like.